My Weird School Days, Book Number 4. Coach Hyatt is a Riot. Chapter 4. Weird Training Methods. Coach Hyatt pulled up in her Mini Cooper with her weird son, Wyatt Hyatt. She blew her whistle. "Line up," she barked. "I hope you ragamuffins are ready to work today." "Are we gonna run more laps?" Ryan asked. "No." "Are we gonna do jumping jacks?" asked Ryan. "No." "Are we gonna do push-ups?" asked Neil the nude kid. "No." "Sit-ups?" I asked. "Touch our toes?" "No." "Then what are we gonna do?" Michael asked. "You're going to pick up my car," said Coach Hyatt. "What?" "You heard me. Pick up my car." "I can't pick up a car," I said. "You can't pick up a car by yourself," said Coach Hyatt. "But I bet that all of you can pick up my car together." She told half of the team to grab the front bumper of the Mini Cooper and the other half of the team to grab the back bumper. Wyatt just picked his nose. "Okay," Coach Hyatt said. "When I blow my whistle, pick up the car." She blew her whistle, and we pulled up with all our might. And you'll never believe in 1,100,000 years what happened. We picked up the Mini Cooper. "Wow," we all said, which is Mom upside down. "Look at that," Coach Hyatt barked. "You ragamuffins picked up a car. That's teamwork. My motto is, if you can pick up a car, you'll go far." It seemed to me that you could go a lot farther if you got in the car and drove it somewhere. But still, it was cool to pick up a car, even if it was a Mini Cooper. Coach Hyatt had us paired off and passed the football back and forth. She said she wanted to see who could throw the ball and catch it. Ryan got teamed up with Neil. I got teamed up with Michael. Wyatt just picked his nose. I'm a good quarterback. Michael and I were passing and catching pretty good when one of my throws got past him. The ball rolled all the way over, near the cheerleaders. Andrea picked it up. "Hey, throw it back," Michael yelled. "What's the magic word?" Andrea asked. "Please," said Michael. Andrea picked up the football, and you'll never believe in 1,100,000 years what happened next. She threw it way over all our heads. I mean, it must have gone 50 yards in the air, and it was a perfect spiral, too. "Wow," we all said, which is Mom upside down. Chapter 5. Dancing in the End Zone. When we arrived for our next practice, Andrea and the girly cheerleaders were practicing their routines at the other end of the field. "Losing, winning, we won't lie. We're most happy with a tie. Go, Moose!" What a lame cheer. Finally, Coach Hyatt showed up in her Mini Cooper with her nose-picking son, Wyatt Hyatt. There was a guy sitting in the car with them, but he didn't get out. That was weird. Coach Hyatt blew her whistle. "Line up." "Are we gonna pick up your car again today?" asked Neil. "No," the coach barked. "Today you ragamuffins are going to learn the most important part of football. How to do an end zone dance. A what? Asked Ryan. After you scored a touchdown, you have to do a dance in the end zone, Coach Hyatt said. Then Coach Hyatt showed us her end zone dance. She shook her butt, lifted a leg over her head, hopped up and down for a while, and then put her hands in the air and waved them around like a crazy person. Coach Hyatt is a riot. Now you try, she told us. We all shook our butts, lifted one of our legs over our heads, hopped up and down for a while, and put our hands in the air and waved them around like crazy people. Wyatt just picked his nose. Can we have some Gatorade now? Asked Ryan. No, barked Coach Hyatt. After we learned the end zone dance, the coach went to her car. Remember that guy who was sitting in it? Well, it turned out he wasn't a guy at all. He wasn't a girl either. He was a dummy. This is my friend Elvis, Coach Hyatt said as she carried the dummy over to us. Sure enough, the dummy looked just like the real Elvis. It sounded like him too. Coach Hyatt pushed a button on the back of the dummy and it started singing, "You ain't nothing but a hound dog." Coach Hyatt said we were going to use Elvis to practice our tackling. Tackling is fun because you get to knock the dummy on its butt. We all lined up to tackle Elvis. I got to go first because my name begins with A. Okay, AJ, said Coach Hyatt. I want you to pretend this is somebody you really hate. That was easy. I'm gonna pretend it's Andrea, I told the guys. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, sang Elvis. I pretended that the Elvis dummy was Andrea and rammed it as hard as I could. Don't be cruel, sang Elvis as I got off him. Ooh, I'm all shook up. Good job, AJ, said Coach Hyatt. Each of us got to tackle the Elvis dummy 5 times. It was cool. Coach Hyatt showed us how to go for the legs so the runner would fall down. Wyatt just picked his nose. Doesn't that kid ever run out of boogers? When we were finished, the coach blew her whistle and said we could take a drink from the Gatorade jug. That's when Little Miss Perfect came over. She had on a cheerleading uniform and was holding pom-poms in her hands. That was a very violent exercise you were doing, Andrea told us. Is it really necessary to hit the dummy so hard? I think that leads to violent behavior in children. Can you possibly be any more boring? I asked Andrea. Why don't you go back to your side of the field and work on your lame cheers? Humph, said Andrea. Then she stormed off to do more lame cheers with her friends. We don't hate and we don't boo. We respect the other team too. Go Moose! After everybody had some Gatorade, Coach Hyatt taught us how to punt the ball. Punting is hard. I punted the ball really far, but I couldn't make it go straight. One of my punts landed over near the cheerleaders. Andrea picked it up. I remembered the last time she got her hands on the ball. She threw it over our heads. Don't throw it, I told Andrea. Just bring it back. What's the magic word, Arlo? Asked Andrea. Now, I yelled. Well, okay. Andrea said, but you're going to have to tackle me for it. Me and the guys laughed. A cheerleader thought she could run past a bunch of trained football players. Ha! I'd like to see you try, I yelled. Andrea started running toward us. Get her, I yelled. Andrea faked out Michael. Then she faked out Ryan. Then she faked out Neil. Andrea was faking out everybody. She was running down the field and nobody could stop her. Nobody but me, that is. After she faked everybody else out, I was the only player between Andrea and the goal line. You're not getting past me, I told her. Oh, yes, I am, Arlo. Oh, no, you're not, I told Andrea. We went back and forth like that for a while. Then Andrea faked left. Then she faked right. Then she faked left again. But I wasn't gonna for her lame fakes. I grabbed her legs and slammed her to the ground. All the guys cheered. Ooh, Ryan said. AJ tackled Andrea. They must be in love. When are you gonna get married? Asked Michael. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Chapter 6. Rufus the Doofus. Coach Hyatt showed up at our next practice with Wyatt the nose picker. A big brown rubber thing was strapped to the roof of the Mini Cooper. What's that big brown rubber thing? We all asked. Last time I told you ragamuffins about the end zone dance, the coach said. Today I want to talk about another very important part of football, the blimp. You got a blimp? Asked Ryan. We all got excited because blimps are cool. Not exactly, Coach Hyatt said as she took the big brown rubber thing off the roof of her car and put it on the grass. I couldn't get a blimp, but I got something even better. What is it? Michael asked. Oh, you'll see, said Coach Hyatt. She attached a bike pump to the big brown rubber thing and started pumping air into it. It got bigger and bigger, and you'll never believe in 1,100,000 years what it turned out to be. It was a giant inflatable moose. This is Rufus, said Coach Hyatt. He's our mascot. I call him Rufus T. Moose. The T stands for the. Rufus the Moose will float over the field and inspire us to victory. Where'd you get him? I asked. Rent a moose? No, rent a blimp, Coach Hyatt said. Some other team got the last blimp, so I was able to get a discount on Rufus. Isn't he awesome? No, he wasn't. Rufus the Moose was kind of wrinkled, and one of his antlers looked like it was about to fall off. Rufus the Doofus was more like it. I didn't tell Coach Hyatt that her moose was lame because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. The coach tied Rufus the Doofus to a tree so he wouldn't blow away. Then she wheeled a big whiteboard out of the equipment shed. It was like the whiteboard we use at school. It's time to go over some plays, Coach Hyatt told us. She drew a bunch of X's and O's on the board to represent the players on our team and another team. Then she drew lines to show where each of us was supposed to run. We went over a bunch of running plays and passing plays. I knew most of them already from last season. And now, the coach said as she looked around to make sure nobody was watching, I'm going to show you our secret play. Ooh, we all leaned forward. Secret plays are cool because, well, anything involving secrets is cool. Coach Hyatt began drawing lines all over the board. AJ, you're the quarterback, so you go here, she barked. Ryan, you go here. Michael, you go here. Neil, you go here. Wyatt, you go here. Wyatt will hike the ball to AJ. AJ will flip it to Ryan. Ryan will pass it to Michael. Michael will lateral it to Neil. Neil will hand it off to Wyatt. Wyatt will run it into the end zone for a touchdown. Got it? Got it! We all shouted, even though none of us got it. Coach Hyatt's secret play made no sense at all, but none of us wanted to look dumb. Okay, let's try it, said Coach Hyatt. We all got into position. Hut 1, I shouted. Hut 2, hike. And we all ran into each other. It was a big mess of kids in a gigantic pile. There were arms and legs flailing around. It looked like one of those tanks full of lobsters you see in the supermarket. Unfortunately, I was the lobster on the bottom. Ow, my leg, I yelled. Walk it off, AJ, Coach Hyatt barked when the last kid climbed off me. I think my leg might be broken, I said. Broken, barked the coach. When I was your age, if my leg was broken, I would go out and build a log cabin with my bare hands. What did that have to do with anything? I thought I was gonna die.